All right, welcome to Your Profit. I am your host, certified life and financial coach, Joe Shortridge. On today's show, I want to talk about something. Now, as I'm recording this, it is the holiday season. And during the holiday season, people are depressed. People are stressed out. They're depressed. Some are angry. There's a lot of emotions that go on. And, I mentioned before on the show about how family gatherings can bring up some real stressful environment. But I've talked about that before also, is how to deal with that. Now, during this time, like I said, a lot of people are depressed. And the thing is, a lot of times you can't tell if someone is depressed, thinking bad thoughts, thinking even like suicide. I want to talk about two things in the news. One is old, one's new. And what brings it up is Stefan Twitch Boss, dancer and superstar, who has regularly been a DJ on the Ellen DeGeneres Show, was found dead. According to his wife, she confirmed that his death in a statement to People magazine. The Los Angeles Coroner office confirmed that he died on Tuesday at 11:25 p.m. in a hotel of a apparent suicide. It was confirmed that it was suicide. He did kill himself. Another one, and this one was back in 2014 when Robin Williams committed suicide. And he was found with a belt around his neck, and investigators found also that he slit his own wrist. Now, think about this. Just these two entertainers who see regularly in public, and they're always outgoing, happy, friendly, having a great time. You never would suspect that somebody like that would take their own life, because they always have their persona out there of the happiness and the one that's always making other people happy. Well, this happens all the time. Like I said, you cannot tell if someone is depressed or sad or mad or that on the inside. They hide it well. People do it. So you really got to keep an eye on your friends. Keep an eye on your family. Ask them, how's it going? No, really, how's it going? That kind of thing. Because you never know. And being the holiday season, people are not going to tell you. They're going to say, oh, I'm fabulous. I'm happy. Yeah. But on the inside, they're super depressed. So there's a new suicide prevention hotline, and that is 988. And if you're feeling down and you're having those kind of thoughts, call that number. There's people out there to help. But if it's not to that extreme, okay, if you're depressed, if you don't know where to go, get a hold of somebody, talk to somebody. As a life coach, I'm here. And, any other life coach would tell you the same thing. So the best thing to do is get a consultation with a life coach. I don't charge anything for consultations. They usually last about 15 minutes or so. And that's not really a life coaching session. That's just so that me and the client can get a baseline of what we're going to talk about, what the issues are. We're not going to talk about the issues, but we're going to find out what they are. And also going to find out if we're a good match for each other. And that's an important thing. When you choose a life coach, you really need to get someone that's going to bond with you, that's going to mesh. They're not going to be your friend. Okay. That's one big thing too, is you don't want to find a friend. You want to find someone that cares enough about you that they're going to tell you the truth. Okay. Now, a life coach we're not designed to fix your problems. Okay. We're designed, or we think of this way as in how to get you to fix your own problems. We bring out the questions and we ask the questions so that you think about what you're dealing with and how to fix it yourself. And sometimes you need that. You need someone there that will help you or guide you to figure out your problems. Okay. Basically, I mean, that's the way it is. So when you go and see a life coach, they're going to sit you down and they're going to look at you. And one thing about life coach is silence is golden. Okay. As a life coach, I'll ask you a question and I'll just sit back and let you answer the question and let you think about your answer. Okay. And that's what it's all about, is getting you to think, getting you to realize that there is a way to change and guide you in that path to make that change. You know, they say change happens in a second. It does, but it takes a lot of people a long time to get to that change. Okay. People will sit there, and I know I've talked about it before, but when you constantly think a certain way, your brain is wiring itself so that it keeps you thinking that way. So if you're depressed, your brain's going to rewire itself to keep you in that depressed state because that's what's normal. Okay. That's what your brain thinks is normal. Obviously it's not, but that's the way your mind thinks. Okay. And your brain will rewire itself to keep you in that depressed state or pissed off state or bitchy mood or anything like that, because that's how it feels your normalcy is. And we got to break out of that. And it's hard. It's hard to break that, but you can do it. Okay. I was just talking to somebody, and for the past, I don't know, 20 years, her family has just been, totally mean to her, treat her like crap, even though she's put her heart and soul into this family, and they do nothing but treat her like crap, and they live in drama. Well, if you live in that drama state and you keep yourself in that drama state, then you're never going to break out of it. You have to make that choice, and you have to figure out how you're going to break that pattern. Okay. Break those patterns. That's, a technique that they use in psychology. And I know Tony Robbins uses one where he says, now imagine your life as a record. And instead of going along the grooves, move it side to side. Think of different things. Think of crazy things that's going to happen. Think about, how can you change that? If you see somebody that you are mad at, imagine them with a big red nose. Imagine them in a clown outfit. You're breaking that pattern. And that's what really you have to do, is break that pattern. And there's so many different ways to do it. But the problem is nobody does it. Okay. Change happens in a second. You just got to get to that second and make that change. Okay. So let me go over some questions that in a standard life coaching session I'll ask. Okay. So the first question is, what brings you in here today? How can I help you? What I almost want to say, what are you sick and tired of being sick and tired of? But I'm not going to say it that way. I'll say, what brings you in here today? What are we talking about? And then I'll be quiet and I'll let you think about that answer. And there's no bad or wrong answers. Okay. The whole idea is to get you to think. Another question would be, what's standing in your way? What is blocking you from getting to where you want to be or doing things that you want to do? So what's standing in your way? This is a great question. I mean, they're all great questions because it gets you to think, but this is a great question because a lot of times people don't know what's standing in their way, and they'll tell me, they're like, I don't know. That's why I come in here, for you to give me the answers. Well, I'm not here to give you answers. I'm here for you to give yourself the answers. I'm just going to guide you and smack you in the back of the head when I can. No, not really, but you know what I mean? And a lot of times people get mad because they're expecting you to give them all the answers in the first session. Well, it doesn't work that way. Like I said, change happens in a second, but once we decide to make that change, we have to figure out what path you're going to take so that you keep making those changes and keep those changes instead of going back to your old ways. Okay. Once I'd asked the first question, the second question I would usually ask is, Can you tell me more? Because with that question, once you would answer a question, you would think in your mind, okay, I did it. I answered the question. I'll sit there and throw you a curveball and say, can you tell me more? And that makes you dig deeper into your thoughts. All right. So the next question is a great question. What are your biggest fears? And this is a big one too, because it gets you thinking of your biggest fears. Now, some of your fears are going to be, I'm afraid to leave the house. I'm afraid to move out because I'm afraid to change. And that's a big thing. People are afraid of change until they do it. Once they do the change, 99.999 times they look back and go, I should have done this sooner. This is crazy. Why did I let myself go this far? That's kind of thing. So what are your biggest fears? What's holding you back? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that if you move out, no one's going to talk to you? Well, that's a good thing, because the people that you're moving away from, you don't want in your life anyways. Okay. Next one. And none of these are in order. These are just questions I wrote down to think about doing this video, is to help you just, show you what it's like to be in a coaching session and hopefully get you out of that depression or that you're in. Because let me do a sidebar here, is when you go to a life coach, we're not going to talk about your past. We may bring up the past, and I've said it many times, and you're probably tired of me saying it, but you can glance back, but always focus forward. And that's important. Those are important words. I didn't make those up. Dave Ramsey did. But you can glance back, but you got to focus forward. Another thing that Chris Hogan used to say is, think of this. Think of your car. Okay. How big is a rear view mirror? So you say it's about that big, it's 7 inches or whatever. Well, how big's a windshield? It's this big, because you got more to look at out front than you do out back. Stop looking in your past. Your past is over. You can't change the past, but you can always change the future. So that's an important thing. So another question is, are you happy right now? Right now, are you happy? And this is a good question, because it brings out the thoughts of, you can act like you're happy. And that's why I brought up Stephen Twitch Boss and Robin Williams, because everybody thought they're happy. Everybody looks at them and goes, man, they got the life. Well, inside they weren't happy, and that's what happens. It's the ultimate thing, but I'm glad that there's so many people out there that will go talk to somebody and call the suicide prevention hotline, or get a hold of a coach, or even a therapist. The big difference between a therapist and a life coach is, therapists will look at your past, life coaches look at your future. And that's important. Like I said, you can't change the past. So why dwell on it? We could talk about the past a little bit, but we're not going to focus on it. It's not going to be the whole focus of the conversation. Okay. Next question that I might ask you is, what does success look like? If you could do anything in life, what would it be? If there was nothing holding you back right now, what would you be doing? What does success look like to you right now? Okay. That's going to change. You're going to think about, well, if I had $1 million, I'd be successful. Well, if you had $1 million, you'd still be the same person. You just have $1 million. You got to change those inner thoughts first, and change your habits and make them lifelong habits, because you could have $1 million, but you're going to still be the same person. You're just going to have $1 million. Now, that would be a good thing. And that's what we're working at. And that's why I'm a financial coach, to help you get out of debt. But the whole thing is, we have to change you into the better person that you want to be. And then you can have $1 million and be happy. You can travel, How would you describe your previous year? This is a good one, because it makes you think again. Okay, like I said, we're not going to focus on the past. We're going to talk about the past a little bit. And by this question, how would you describe your previous year? It gets you thinking of what did you do and how can you change? What are the things that you did to get to the point where you're at? Now, you got to remember that every single solitary thing, every single second of your life has got you to where you are right now, which is a good thing. Okay. A lot of people say, well, if I could have changed, I would have done this, but you wouldn't be where you're at right now. You wouldn't have the friends that you have right now, good and bad. Okay. You may have some bad friends right now. You may have some good friends, but let's focus on the good friends and get those people in your life. Surround yourself with the people that you want to become. Let's see what the next one I have down here is. What do you want to accomplish this year? What kind of things do you want to do? Now, we talk about this a lot where I say make a to-do list and stuff like that. It's sort of like this. Okay. What do you want to accomplish this year? Now, I'm not saying what do you want to accomplish in the next 5 years. I'm saying what this year. So you almost have to break it down and figure out what you have to do each month to get to that point where you want the end of the year thing. And this is a great time of year too. As I'm recording this, it is December 15th. It is in the holiday season. New Year's is coming up. I talked to my show a couple weeks ago about New Year's resolutions. Yes, I did New Year's resolutions in November because you want to get a head start on them so that you're at that point when New Year's comes around. Now, what do you want to accomplish this year? Do you want to make $1 million? Okay. What are you going to do today to start making that $1 million? Because it's going to take you a while to make $1 million. You're not going to make $1 million overnight. You have to figure out what can I do and break it up into the 12 months. And you can even go farther than that and break it up into the weeks. What can I do every week to get that $1 million? And personally, I haven't done it. I have made a lot of money selling garden boxes and stuff like that on my website. I enjoy doing that. So it's something I enjoy and I'm making money at it. I'm not going to make $1 million at it, but it's only one step. Okay. There's several different things. And there have been people out there that have made $1 million in a year, but it's a lot of work. So you have to figure out what you want to do each month to make that goal that you want at the end of the year. And it's a perfect time right now. Is like I said, I'm looking on the computer here. It's December 15th. So you have a year to figure out what goal you want to accomplish and write that down. Write it down as your month or your yearly goals. Put it on the calendar. And you can even write in the calendar each month, what am I going to do to make it to that goal? So, all right. Next question that I have typed down here is, what things from your daily life make you happy? And like I said, these aren't in any order. I just wrote these down to do the recording here. But what things from your daily life make you happy? What makes you happy? What do you enjoy doing? What are your happy hobbies? You have to think about that. Think about what you can do today to make yourself happy. There are things that are going to make you sad. There are things that make you mad. But what makes you happy? And let's focus on those. Okay. What are you most proud of? This is a great question because you really have to think and dig deep into this question. What are you most proud of? No, really, what are you most proud of? Let's not talk about the stuff on the surface. Let's dig a little deeper and think about what are you really proud of? And write those down. Make print it up on a piece of paper and hang it on the wall. Say, I am proud of this and I'm going to keep this up. And what do you want? That's a simple question. What do you want? Now, the thing is, a lot of people tell me what they don't want. Well, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. No, I didn't ask you that. What do you want? Get thinking those kind of thoughts of what do you want? Because Whatever you think of, your brain will tell you. If you keep saying, why can't I? Your brain's going to say, because you can't. So what do you want? I want to. I want this. How can I achieve this? That's a great question to ask yourself, because your mind will go, well, you do this. So that's a great question. Next one is, what have you done to solve the problem? I say this all the time. What are you going to do about it today? Somebody comes to me and has a problem or are bitching about something that I'm going to look at them and go, so what are you going to do about it today? And that goes back to the same thing where I'm getting you to think. You may say nothing. Well, so then why? Give them the 5 why. Like if somebody comes up to you and asks you that, give them the 5 whys. Well, I can't because of this. Why? Well, because of this. Why? Because. Well, why? It's digging deeper into the question and making that person think, making you think, what can you do today to solve that problem? And that's the thing you can ask yourself all the time. If you're starting to get depressed or mad, well, what can I do to fix this? Obviously not what we were talking about earlier. That's not fixing it. With my other show, the 222 Paranormal Podcast, we talked about near-death experiences and that. And a lot of people are like, I just want to get back there. But they can't, because they know that if they commit suicide, they're not going to the same place. So, yeah, that's a great one. What are you going to do to solve this problem? Next question is, if the main problem didn't exist, what would your life look like? If the main problem didn't exist, what would your life look like? What would your life look like? I want you to think about that, and I want you to daydream about that. Daydreaming is a good thing. Keep that in your mind of, what would my life look like if I did this? Now, another part of that is your brain. I keep saying it. Your brain doesn't know the difference between reality and your thoughts. Your brain doesn't care the difference between your reality and your thoughts. All your brain does is tries to get you out of pain and into pleasure. So if you imagine your life being a certain way, and you really think about that, and you meditate on that, and think about that every day, you will become what you're thinking. Great example, I've talked about before, right over here. I know you can't see it, but on the wall, I have pictures. And the one picture is gone because I got what that was. I had a picture of a Ford Edge up there. I needed a new car. I wanted a Ford Edge. I like the Ford Edges. So I put a picture of it up there. And every day when I'm in the studio, I see that picture. Another one that's up there right now is a log cabin. I want to get out of this house and get into a log cabin. Okay. A lot of you know about the leaf blower incidences and all that, and neighbors and noise and the planes and the fire trucks and the cars. I just want to get out into the quietness, and that's the way to do it. Is I have that picture up on the wall, and it reminds me to keep doing the things I'm doing to get to that point where I can actually buy myself a log cabin and move out into the country area. So that's it. What would your life look like? Or if your main problem didn't exist, what would your life look like? It's a great way to get yourself daydreaming and think about that and keep working to get to that point. Next question that I might ask you, and like I said, none of these are in order. They're just ones I threw down. What do you need most right now? What can I help you with? What made you come in today? What made you call me? What happened that made you reach that point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired? Okay. What do you need most right now? Now, when someone would answer that question, they would say, I want to stop fighting. I want to pay my bills off. I'm in debt. I need to pay my bills off. So right now I need to go become debt free. Okay, so let's work on that. Let's figure out a budget. Let's do this kind of thing. It's a step-by-step process. Everything is a step-by-step process. Dave Ramsey calls it the baby steps. So do I. The baby steps are a huge thing in financial coaching for the things that I do. My job as a financial coach is to get you out of debt. That's the main thing. I don't know about investing, retirement things. I have people that handle that for me. I don't invest. I don't work on my retirement. I have someone that does that for me. I am the guy that you're going to come to that's going to help you get out of debt by doing the baby steps. Baby step 2, baby step 1 is $1,000 emergency fund in the bank. Just a quick emergency fund so that you can cut up your credit cards. Yeah, cut up the credit cards. And that's a huge panic thing for a lot of people. They are afraid to. And they have that one credit card that they got in high school that they still have. And they're like, oh, well, I've had this my whole life. Well, too bad. You're paying 18 to 26% on everything you buy. And there's a lot of people that come in and say, but I pay that off every month so I can get the points. I don't know any millionaire, and I've talked to a lot of millionaires. I don't know any millionaire that has ever said, yeah, I made my millions by my points. It doesn't work like that. Or, hey, but I keep this credit card because I get 1% cash back on my 18 to 28% interest. I'm buying stuff that I don't even need. Pay cash. So anyways, baby step 2 is paying your debts off from smallest to largest using the debt snowball. We don't care about interest rates because we're going to burn through these debts as fast as we can. Gazelle intensity. Get those bills paid off and become debt free. So everything in life is baby steps. One of the great sayings that Tony Robbins said that I learned and I live by is CANI, constant and never ending improvement. Always doing those little things every single day to get to that major point, to get to that big point of what you want. What does your life look like a year from now? Where do you want to be a year from now? Let's work on that. That's baby steps. Doing simple things every month to get you to that point. Okay. Where are we at? I don't know if I just asked this. Did I just ask this? What is the most important thing in the world to you? What is the number one thing in your life right now? What is the most important thing to you in your life right now? Let's build on that. That's a great question to ask because it gets you thinking again. You may say, my most important thing right now is my car. Well, no, it's not. Your car gets you around to get you to your jobs to get out of debt. But no, that's a great question to make you think too. And the last one I have typed down here is, what hasn't been working for you today? And that's the kind of question that, what's not working? What can we work on? What can we fix? Okay. Or should I say, what can you fix? Because like I said, I'm just here to guide you to the ultimate goal that you want and to guide you to the feelings that you want to be or that you want to have and the person you want to be. It's going to take time. Change happens in a second, but keeping that change day after day is hard work. But it's worth it. It's just like getting out of debt, doing the debt snowball. It's going to be hard. You're going to have days, and just like working out, just like my DDPY yoga that I do every day. There's days I don't want to do it. There's days my knees hurt. There's days my gout acts up. There's days I don't feel like it. But you got to push through. And it's hard. Doing them baby steps is hard. Your family members are going to think you're going crazy. And you're going, yes, I did. I did go crazy because I want to get out of debt. Or I don't want to be mad at myself all the time. Or I don't want to be depressed. I want a better life. Another good thing this time of year, the Christmas season, and Halloween season the same way, is going around and seeing the decorations on people's houses and decorating the house yourself. I put lights out this year, not as many as I want, but I put out what I have, and after Christmas, I'm going to go shopping. I put some money aside to go buy more lights and stuff. And next year I'll have better setup, which that makes me happy. I enjoy that. I enjoy putting up the lights. I enjoy driving around looking at other people's displays. My best friend Dana, up where she lives, they just had yesterday, as I'm recording this, they had Twinkle the Town. And what they did was everybody in the town got together, and I think they put money into a poll. They took probably $20 a person or whatever. I don't know how much it was, but they all got together and put money in a big pot. And then everybody in the town drove around and figured out whose lights display looked the best. And that person won. So it's a way to involve the whole town and make the town feel better, because this is the time of year where we want to feel better. And like I said, this is the time of year where a lot of people are not feeling good at all. Christmas and the holidays bring out the most depression in people, and the world's a mess right now. It's always been a mess. It's always going to be a mess, but it's always different. But there's a lot of pissed off people and a lot of depressed people out there, and they're not showing you that they're depressed. They won't admit it. When people say, how you feeling? They're all like, I'm okay. Well, there's a lot of people out there are not okay. So take the time, talk to your friends, talk to your family. I mentioned a few weeks ago on the show is driving places and, photo hunting is what I call it. Spending time with your family. If you want to bring someone along, I go alone. I do my photo hunting alone because, like I said, I can do things at my own pace. But if you know somebody that is feeling down or depressed, talk to them. Say, hey, what's up? No BS me. I'm not here to judge you. And just like a life coach, if you get a hold of a life coach, they're not there to judge you. It's like going to the principal's office. You think, oh man, I'm just going to get in trouble. They're going to yell at me. It's like, it ain't like that. It's not like that at all. A life coach is there to guide you in the direction to help you. And we have the tools, like with getting out of debt. I've got budgets that you can work on, and that's an important thing. You got to do a budget. It's a pain in the ass, but you got to do a budget. But I've also have different questionnaires that you want to ask yourself, and they're questionnaires that you're not going to hand back in. They're just there for you to think of. And it's just like, all these questions that I typed out. There's no good answer. There's no bad answer. There's just an answer. And the answers are there to get you to think. So that's what this show is about. I saw that gentleman from the Ellen DeGeneres Show, the DJ. Sorry, I keep forgetting his name. Twitch Boss, I guess. Stephen Twitch Boss. And Robin Williams was a good one because that was back in my era. I mean, that was 2014 when he committed suicide. So you can never tell what people are thinking, and you can't tell by how they're acting. So if you are depressed or if you have those kind of thoughts and you can reach that point where you're having those thoughts, the number, I can't remember. I can't remember, is 988. It's the new suicide prevention hotline. Call it. And if it's not to that point where you're not that far ahead, where you're not thinking suicidal thoughts, but you're just depressed and you want somebody to talk to, life coaches are out there like me. We're out there to help you. And don't just go into a life coaching session thinking that day everything's going to change. Okay. The first time you talk to a life coach, make sure it's a consultation and make sure if you're a good fit, because you may not be a good fit with that person. I do consultations. They're usually about 15 minutes, and don't let them charge you for it either. Okay. If you're going in and the life coach says, no, I got to charge you for your consultation. Well, pick a different one, because that person's not out to help. That person's out to make money. And there are people out there like that. So anyhow, thank you for listening this week. Like I said, if you are feeling down, talk to someone. And I'll put a link, or in the show notes, I'll copy down all these questions. So if you want to look in the show notes and look at the questions, there's kind of descriptions of with the questions. And if you want to change your life, great way to do it is get up on Amazon right now and type in Joe Shortridge and look for my book, The 14-Day Morning Affirmation Transformation. This book will change your life. I know you keep hearing me say that, but it will. Pick it up on Amazon today. Do the questions. Do those 14-day morning affirmations, and it will change your life. It will make you a better person. You'll be happier, and it'll change those neural pathways in your mind so that you think good thoughts and you're happy. Okay. Another good way is meditation. I do a 15-minute meditation every night, and that is a good way too to think about how your future is going to look when you become that person, because you think of that in your meditation. You think about how my life is going to look, what things are going to happen. What does it look like when I reach that point? So that's a good thing. But please, right now, get up on Amazon, 14-day morning affirmation transformation. Pick it up on Amazon and change your life for the better. All right. Thank you for listening this week. Hope you enjoy the week. Hope you enjoy the shows I've had on. Please hit that subscribe button. If it doesn't say subscribe, it'll say follow. It's the same thing. Doesn't cost you anything. Just hit that subscribe button. If you're watching us on video, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell and give me a thumbs up on the video. It really means a lot. And leave me a comment. Tell me, answer one of these questions. I'll put them in the show notes. Answer one. Dig deep into your thoughts and let me know what you're thinking. All right. Thank you. Have a great week, and I will talk to you next week. Goodbye, everyone.